One of the more common questions I get, probably I would guess 5 to 7 times a week, is do I guide? And I don't guide, and that is for a very specific reason. The whole goal of Spilt Milk Productions is to help people catch fish, and so it seems intuitive that guiding would be the way to do that. But the overall goal of my channel and all the content that I produce is actually to empower the individual to go out and catch fish themselves, because I feel like the level of satisfaction that you get from going out and catching fish, like researching a fishery, tying up all your own gear, and then going out there and putting it into practice, you definitely will not catch as many fish as a guide does. Well, maybe, I don't know, there's some pretty bad guides out there. But I feel like those fish mean so much more to, at least to me, and I think to a lot of other people too, to be able to do that on your own, confidently. And I just love the idea of empowering people to be able to do that on their own. If it was strictly about making money, I definitely would be guiding, because definitely way more lucrative than what I do now, because what I do now, I kind of feel like I have to catch fish to show you how to catch fish. Whereas with a guide, you can go out and not catch fish and still get paid. Whereas there are many days I go out in the water, struggle, come away with nothing, no content, cameras go bad, and just bad things happen when you're out here. Equipment fails, there's pressure changes, weather systems, and the fish just start biting, and that's just part of life, right? Oop. Oh, that's actually not a bad kokanee. It wasn't even biting like kokanee. He's like, I'll just give up. Whew. He's a jumper. He's a jumper. There we go. Now, beyond even empowering people to fish, one of the things that I think is fundamental to my philosophy as a content creator is that I believe in the democracy of fishing. When I talk about the democracy of fishing, I feel like it should be open to everyone, no matter race, sex, gender, income. And to me, as a guide, standard rates for guides vary anywhere from $150 to $250+ a day per person. That's expensive. That's a big investment, especially if you're like, somebody taking their family out. That gets very cost prohibitive quickly for a lot of people. And, with this channel, my goal is that you can go out there in an inexpensive kayak, although a lot of the content I produce is helpful to anybody. But you can go out there in a kayak and catch fish. That's another reason I really like ice fishing, is it allows people without boats to get out and cover a lot of water and catch lots of fish. It's something they can do with their family that's relatively inexpensive. And so that's a major reason. I understand that I'm probably deluding myself a little bit here, and that obviously if you have lots of money, you're going to have way more access to different fisheries than people without. But what I'm trying to do is level that out a little bit, right? To give everybody that knowledge that they need, to show people that you don't have to have, a $30,000 Duckworth that's 18 foot long to go out on the ocean, catch king salmon. You can do it in a $2,000 kayak, right? Like, I could easily strip this thing down to bare minimum, a cheap fish finder, and still go out there and catch a lot of fish, right? And that's another reason why I don't guide, because it's not about the money to me. So that's not to say that I don't want to make a living doing what I'm doing here, but I don't want to charge people $150, $250 a day to make that living, right? What I'm essentially asking you to do is, as a viewer, is to tolerate anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds of commercials, and YouTube makes a few pennies off of that, and they pass along a few fractions of a penny to me with each view. And I feel like that's a fair trade for the quality of content that I deliver and for the information that I deliver, is that you have to put up with a few commercials. What my whole platform is built on is if you have the capacity or you feel like I deserve additional support, I have things like Patreon. I have the affiliate links below that if you buy anything through there, that helps support this channel. And at the bottom of every video, you'll see a button that says thanks. You can actually just do a one-time donation. That to me is fair and more in line with my values about trying to make a living doing fishing content production, right? And then lastly, what a lot of people don't know about me and my history is that I actually worked as a bird watching guide in Central and South America for many years. So bird watching is something I've always been into. I can identify probably around 3,500 species by sight and a couple thousand by sound. And that's a good skill to have. Especially when people want to see birds, being able to detect birds and identify them just by how they sound is something that I'm very skilled at. And I love bird watching just as much as I love fishing. But one of the things that working with clients in South America and Central America taught me is that, birding and fish guiding is really similar, right? Because you're dealing with a wild animal. It's unpredictable. It might be there, it might not. You have to, even if the bird is there, you have to make sure everybody in the group sees it. Just like fish, the fish might be there, but getting somebody else to catch it is another thing altogether. I think for a lot of Northwest fisheries, guiding's actually a lot easier because there's like the individual part of it is not really, the individual client isn't as big a part of the issue because we just have a lot of troll fisheries. So you just set it, forget it, and the guy driving the boat, the guide really does catch the fish. But let's say if you're like jigging for walleye or something, it's really going to depend on the skill of the customer or client. And so there was a lot of times that I would take clients out in the rainforest, and 4 out of 6 people in the group would get to see the bird, and the other 2 were devastated, right? Because people spend a lot of money to travel around the world to see these birds for their life list. I understand. And they might miss that one target bird. We might see 200 species that day, but because they missed that one that was the most important to them, their day is ruined, and they take that out on you as a guide, right? I would say that the vast majority of the clients I had were great, but not all, and it ruined the experience. And I'm just not sure if I really want to do that for fishing. I don't know if I really want to put up with those few bad clients just to make a living. What I'm doing now, I don't know if you can call it making a living, but I'm getting there. And everything's on me, right, to produce quality content, and most of the interactions I have are positive. I'd say 99% of the feedback I get is very supportive. Overall, I really enjoy this experience because what happens is about 2 or 3 times a day I get Instagram messages or Facebook messages, people just sending me pictures of their catches and just how stoked they are to have caught their first limit or their first kokanee and their first salmon, whatever. And that is super awesome for me. That makes my day. Like, to just get off the water and get back in cell phone reception and just inundated with all these messages about their cool fishing experiences they had by themselves, with their family, with their friends. And I always take the time to respond to all those. I get a lot of messages. I try very hard to reply to all of that. To every single message I try and reply to. It's important to me to have that connection with you. So that's in a nutshell why I don't guide. I've thought about doing like workshops and things like that in the future, and I might look at pursuing that at some point. I'm just not sure when yet. anyways, I hope that explains a little bit better why I don't guide, and it's just a personal choice, and just because it doesn't really fit well into my values. All right, I'll see you guys next time out on the water. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.